Good morning and welcome to the order of Monday morning. You're supposed to raise your right eyebrow when you make the sign. This order of Monday morning. I can wiggle my ears too. Do you want? Let's see. Hey, want to see my tattoo? Anyway, it's been a crazy weekend. Constance went out on her bike on No King's Day with her signs and it was just kind of a crazy, wonderful weather here in Sacramento. I'll give credit where credit is due. I don't always speak kindly of Sacramento, but I tell you, what a perfect, absolute, nice and warm. Got up into the low 80s even late in the afternoon. Anyway, today is what they call October 20th, Day on Writing Day. Now, I'm sure that you're getting ready for the Day on Writing Day festivities, sharpening your pencils and changing your typewriter ribbons. Remember that? Uh, but it's a really a good idea, and it's more magical than you might at first think. I was really kind of old when I started, seriously writing. In in high school, I wrote for the school newspaper, and as you can imagine, many of my articles and the articles I wrote with the other journalists on our high school newspaper got a lot of our articles rejected because we had I don't know if you want to hear about this. I should write about it. Uh, my good friend Chuck Saunders, who's a Facebook friend still. Hi, Chuck. Uh, we were sort of crazy guys. Okay, we were the first ones to bring skateboards to school and things like that. And he had a motorcycle and but anyway, so we were the kind of comic misfits in school, and so we got onto into the journalism department, and I took photographs too. Uh, but anyway, we organized a school lunch strike because it was obvious that whatever resources were given to our high school at the time for our lunch program and run by a dietitian uh, was subpar, especially compared to, say, the Catholic school, high school down the street. And we did an investigative report. We went to the Catholic school and had lunch at their lunchroom, and it was really good. Okay, it was dramatically different. Okay, and we came back and reported our findings and looked into how much money we were being allotted for our lunch program. And the cheap ass canned army surplus food that we were eating was scandalous, actually. So we uh, surreptitiously organized a school lunch strike, and we timed it for the day they served pizza, which is the only thing that was pretty good. And so we had everybody that we possibly could to agree to buy your lunch ticket. So they expected lots and lots of people at lunch. So they ordered lots and lots of food for that day. And then no one came and no one cashed in their lunch ticket for that day. And the strike succeeded. And well, anyway, got a new dietitian, the food got better and things like that. But anyway, uh, and then we wrote sort of a satirical uh, uh, column in the paper called Maud Rocker. Now this was in 1965 and 66, and we spoke out against the Vietnam War and things like that. And I eventually got expelled for, believe it or not, sedition. Sedition. My I soon got out of that when I had attorneys talk to the principal about what sedition was and what it wasn't, and but oh, that's a long story. Uh, anyway, but I just wrote fun things like that, and then I wrote songs. Okay, because I was in a band. We did a few original things, but it wasn't until I moved out to California in 1966 and got a record contract. Then when I started seriously writing songs, and I enjoyed it. Okay, but I didn't think of it as being anything other than, well, I'm trying to express myself. They need lyrics. They need this. Uh, and it truly wasn't until uh, we initiated in our local OTO lodge down in Newport Beach, Haru-Raha Lodge. Uh, we initiated Christopher S. Hyatt. His name was Dr. Alan Miller, actually. But and he was already a best-selling author with his book Undoing Yourself. He was sort of colleagues with Robert Anton Wilson. He helped publish Tim Leary things and things like that. And he joined our lodge, and he eventually asked me to if I would sort of write an epilogue or a contribution to his a book he was writing called The Secrets of Western Tantra. And that was the first time I actually sat down with a word processor and started to hammer out something. Well, it was good enough, at least to his standards, that eventually I ended up co-authoring 4 books with Alan. And so that he more or less kicked off my writing career because we wrote together at his apartment, uh, beautiful apartment overlooking the bay in Long Beach. And he'd sit at his room with or his side of the room with his computer and monitor, and I'd sit with mine, their old Apples, with the console. Okay, but he taught me the the craft, the discipline of writing, because he was a serious writer, and we would talk occasionally I had my project that I was working on, and I'd eventually show him, and he'd be writing on his because he came at it from a like a clinical psychologist point of view, and I was coming at these subjects from a magical and hermetic point of view, and then we'd kind of put them together into a book. But he taught me the discipline. He taught me to stay in my chair, and he taught me how to channel my imagination and my creativity onto the page. And for that, I will forever be grateful. You go someplace when you write. I've been writing for my speech on this coming Saturday here in Sacramento on the subject is Thelema is bigger than Aleister Crowley. And for a talk like that, you have to write the equivalent of a mini book. Okay, well, so I'm in my serious writing mood with the computer on my lap, undisturbed in the living room, laying on my big chair. Okay, and so I'm in the writing mood. Crowley was a writer, and while I don't compare myself in any way to Crowley, only in so much as we both write. But Crowley wrote sometimes just to write and just to keep a roof over his head and just to fill his stomach. He did lots of writing projects. He wrote for Vanity Fair magazine, okay? And he wouldn't always write about magic, but all his writings were magical. And so over the years, when given the opportunity, when given the opportunity to write for specific projects that aren't hardcore magic, I'm happy to do it. Because, I have more in common with people that have never heard the word magic. I've got than I don't have in common. Okay, we both breathe, we both eat, we both wear clothes, we both had parents, more or less. You've got more in common with everybody. You're not limited in the universality of your humanity. And so sometimes you're lucky to be able to write something light and for a broader audience that is also magically focused. When I was a little kid, still in California, my Aunt Vina, when we'd visit her house in Long Beach, she'd have these Fate magazines. And I liked them because they were small. And I could crawl across the carpet and pick them out, these Fate magazines. Okay. Now, eventually, I'd grow into a man, and I'd write for Fate magazines. Here's one back in 2005, 20 years ago. I wrote, let's see here, Queen Elizabeth's Real Life Merlin, the key to something like holds key to reincarnation is that one. And In this one is 21 years ago. What did I write here? Ah, Terrors of the Threshold, Astral Projection in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And this one, also 21 years ago, 6 months later, A New Look at the Old Black Magic, Spirit Evocation and Exorcism. So I enjoyed that. I got a kick out of it. And it, in a way, it manifested a childhood dream of being one of those crazy contributors to Fate magazine. Now, Fate magazine, I don't know when they were taken over by the Carl Weschke's Llewellyn organization, but I've also published a couple of books with Llewellyn, and they had a like a blog magazine thing too, and I've written a couple really short things for them too. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share at least one of those with you right now for our day on writing day. It's called Who's to Say? I've been writing books and articles about magical and mystical things for nearly 30 years. Now we can say 50 years. I'm especially passionate about the Western Hermetic arts, Kabbalah, Tarot, Enochian magic, and Goetia, and the initiatory programs of magical societies such as the Golden Dawn, AA, Ordo Templi Orientis, and Freemasonry. As a writer, I've been lucky in so much as I've had little difficulty finding quality publishers who continue to be very supportive of my works and infinitely patient with my shameful sloth and flakiness. In recent years, the medium for my work has spilled over into video and music, exposure which has inevitably brought me to the attention of radio and internet interviewers who grill me on a regular basis with questions which spring from their very limited interest in and understanding of magic and what it's really about. The most common questions put to me by my sensation-seeking hosts concern magical powers. Pretty good eyebrow work there, right? Here's the ears. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. The most common question put to me by my sensation-seeking hosts concern magic powers, like cursing people, influencing elections, and the juiciest of all subjects, winning the lottery. What can I say? I've never cursed anyone. Well, I did once write an unkind song about George W. Bush. By the light of the Hecate moon, Goddess grant my boon, that George W. dies real soon. Well, obviously that didn't work because he's still alive, okay? And his goons. Okay. Condoleezza and Carl, he's dead. And Dick, they get real sick. They squirm and kick. They'll be strangling soon by the Hecate moon. That's as big as the curse that I've ever done. Okay. And I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to retitle today's talk, Lon and His Eyebrows. Okay. Uh, let's see. And every effort I've made to win the lottery by magical means or otherwise has patently failed. Does that mean that my magic doesn't work? My answer sounds unexciting and unromantic and very unwizard-like. The only thing I can change with magic is myself. If it is truly my will to curse someone, then I'm going to have to magically change myself into the kind of person that successfully curses people. If it is truly my will to influence an election, then I'm going to have to magically change myself into the kind of person that successfully influences elections. If it is truly my will to win the lottery, then I need to go about changing myself to the kind of person who lottery wins happen to. And you think that's not possible? Well, every week, lots of people are the type of people that lottery wins happen to. Such an answer doesn't make for good radio, but it is the truth as I see it. I have absolutely no idea exactly how my magic has changed my life because I have no idea what the circumstances of my life would now be had I not studied and practiced magic. Had I not gone through the process of willed self-evolution known as initiation. I confess I'm not rich and powerful. Don't even fantasize that writing occult books is ever going to pay the rent or health insurance. Constance and I live a life of what was diplomatically called in the old days genteel poverty. And I have to add, nothing has changed since I've written this. Perhaps if owning a huge house or driving a luxury car was the focus and goal of my magical aspirations for the last 50 years, I might now be a little more prosperous. But as foolish as it may sound, happiness has always been and remains my focus in life. And our emotional and spiritual lives are as rich as any two human beings could hope to dream. Who's to say, then, we are not wealthy? Who's to say magic hasn't worked? Who's to say how broken or destitute our condition could have been? How diseased, how depraved, how unhappy, how evil our lives might now be had we not worked the magic to attune our bodies and psyches to the universal consciousness of the cosmos. Who's to say what our lives and personalities would now be like had we not applied the techniques of magic to return balance to our excesses and timidities? Had we not conquered and redirected our demons? Had we not voluntarily set out upon the spiritual adventure of willed self-evolution known as initiation? Few of us are regularly challenged on the radio to explain or defend our spiritual worldview to an unseen audience who may or may not be ridiculing every word we say. But each of us challenge ourselves far more ruthlessly each day concerning the wisdom of our chosen path. We ridicule ourselves every time we curse the circumstances of our finances, our social status, our love life, or the inadequate level of our spiritual illumination. Who's to say how terribly screwed up your life could be? I thought you'd say that. Okay, then get over it. Time to accept the reality that you have changed yourself into the kind of magician that wonderful things happen to, and that they are happening to you right now. Okay, that's my little article that I wrote for the Llewellyn's little blog magazine. I don't know. Yeah, that's quite recently, I think. Anyway, I've got another one there, but I think we've run out of time, and I have to get ready for tonight's Monday night class, Monday night magic class here in Sacramento. Uh, just a reminder that if you're interested in tarot and you're interested in, let's see, and that you've heard about anyway, my book, The Tarot Architect. Now, it's a thick book, okay? Because it's more than just a book that you read about and learn stuff. You do read about and learn stuff, but it's also an experiential workbook. And if you work it right, you can make your own tarot deck. Not only make your own tarot deck, but understand what it's about. And even if you don't make your own tarot deck, whatever tarot deck you use will come more alive. You'll understand this, literally the cosmic, the mathematical, the spiritual inhabitants of every one of your cards. Why do you think that tarot cards draw natural psychic abilities in you and things like that? There's a reason. And the more you're in tune with that, the better your relationship will be with that tarot. Anyway, I wrote it because, this is late in my career, and I've started to put a lot of two and twos together about these things. And yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, one of my favorite and most respected tarot commentators, who has a fabulously entertaining YouTube series called Kippy's Quest. That's spelled with a K. Kippy's Quest. I've watched every single one of his episodes. They're a scream. They use cartoon animation. It's a real production, every one of them, and he does one for every tarot card, and he explains things and puts them in digestible context that blows my mind, keeps me laughing all the time, and Kippy did a full episode review of Tarot Architect. Kippy has gone through the program. He even shows some of the tarot cards that he created or printed off of this. He understands. He of all the people in the world that I would want to get what this book was intended to be, Kippy got it. And he shares that with you. And so I invite you to Google around. It's Kippy, K-I-P-P-I, Kippy's Quest, Kwist. He's from the UK. And I really, if you wanted to know a little bit about what you might be getting into when you read or buy the Tarot Architect, please take 14 minutes and watch Kippy's Quest review of the tarot architect. Okay, until tomorrow. Hey, this week, uh, our Tuesday, Parking Lot Tuesday, is going to be Parking Lot Wednesday. So tomorrow, Tuesday, I should be right on time, right here at home. So until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And when you get a moment today, write something. Pretend it's a one-day journal. Just write something. It alters your consciousness.